If Harry Kane joined Chelsea, he'd be new Sol Campbell. Micky Hazard tells Star that trophy means much more at Spurs. Micky Hazard has a simple message for Harry Kane. Stay at Tottenham for your whole career and become the club's greatest ever player. Hazard was once forced out of Spurs to join Chelsea, but urges Kane to choose to stick around and eclipse even the late Jimmy Greaves. Ahead of today's Crunch London derby, Hazard said, "I'd tell him, Harry, you've a chance to leave a legacy at this club that is unsurpassed and will never be bettered." I was talking to Tottenham legend Steve Perryman when there was the big debate about Harry leaving. He said, "Mick, to win trophies for the club you love, to win just one, is worth winning 10 at a club that you've just been bought to play for. I did a bit of work with Jimmy just before he died. I was completely overawed. I was sitting next to greatness. It was overpowering. That's what Harry can have. If he sees out his career at our football club, smashes Jimmy's goalscoring record and wins a trophy, he will go down as our greatest ever." Join Sun Vegas. Get a free £10 bonus with 100s of games to play and no deposit required. TSNCS apply. Hazard played far fewer games for Tottenham than Kane, but earned legend status by winning the FA Cup and UEFA Cup as part of their excellent 80s side. Back then Spurs were top dogs in London, with Chelsea still trying to re-establish themselves in the top flight. So when Tottenham broke Hazard's heart in September 1985 by selling him for £300,000, a club record for the Blues, it was not particularly controversial. He said. The gulf between the two clubs at that stage was massive. They weren't viewed as competitors. It's much easier to spot the rivalry now, especially with social media putting everything under so much scrutiny. If Harry joined Chelsea, it would be seen as a betrayal, a bit like Sol Campbell going to Arsenal. Hazard himself was distraught at the time, but overcame early problems, adjusting to Chelsea's more direct style of play to become a fan's favourite. But his heart was still across London, as was clear when he scored twice in a 3-1 win for the Blues on his first return to White Hart Lane. Hazard said, "I got a very good reception before the game, anyway. I saw the laundry ladies, the kitmen, everybody making a fuss of me. It was like getting home from holiday, going back through your own front door. I was interviewed on the radio after the game. How did it feel to come back and prove your old club and manager wrong? And I said that, to be honest, it felt like I had scored 2 own goals. I'd known only Spurs since I was 12. To be a Spurs player and then loved by Chelsea fans was a big achievement. They will always have a place in my heart because of how they treated me. I always feel guilty I don't love Chelsea the same way as I love Spurs. But you can't control who you fall in love with." After leaving Chelsea in 1990, Hazard had a short spell at Portsmouth before playing under former Spurs teammates R.C. Artles and Glenn Hoddle at Swindon Town. Having helped the Robins into the top flight, he returned to Spurs to finish his career but still wishes he had never left in the first place. Hazard said, "I look at someone like Ledley King and feel a bit envious because he got to play his whole career at one club." Spurs fans should hope Kane has a chat with Hazard before he makes any decisions on his future. At 61, former midfielder Hazard retains an infectious passion for life, football and Tottenham Hotspur. Waiting to be introduced to the crowd at the finale. If Pride had a facexpic.twitter.com R0WA4XKSMP, but when asked for his greatest Spurs moment, Hazard does not choose the 1982 FA Cup final, the crucial free kick he scored in the UEFA Cup semi-final second leg in 1984, or the final itself. With eyes glistening and a voice cracking with emotion, he said, "It gets to me every time I talk about it. It brought about the greatest feeling ever, outside of my children and grandchildren being born. It was the day of the last game at White Hart Lane. I was invited as one of 49 former players to go to the game. We were in the tunnel, waiting to be introduced. I've got David Ginola in front and Glenn Hoddle behind me. I'm thinking, Ginola's such a hero at Spurs, and Glenn is just God, I'm not even going to get a cheer. Free bets. Get over £2,000 in new customer deals." When I got home that night, someone had posted this picture of me standing there, beaming, with big black writing across the top. If Pride had a face. It summed up me and how I feel about Tottenham. Spurs fans must hope that Kane feels the same. Free bets. Get over £2,000 in new customer deals.